Hi, welcome to She Spice. By and by, Beyonce is up to speed in tales about her inclinations. However, this time the proof is by all accounts pretty strong. While Beyonce could appear as though she's overwhelmed with passion and love with Jay-Z, now there are murmurs that she once had a profound energetic relationship with another person, and it was no other man, it was with a lady named Emile. Assuming you won't ever hear about Emile, Beyonce's supposed sweetheart, well, in light of the fact that this is a story, you won't have any desire to miss what ended up being feeble. I don't know, man. She just vanished, man. Like one day, I'll simply say you'll at no point ever see her in the future, and I never did. AAL was a woman who stirred things up as a component of a gathering called Significant Coins, although the gathering didn't keep going for long. Emile was a conceived star. Individuals anticipated that she should disappear similarly as fast as she showed up, but she had a flash that made her music stand apart. She got endorsed by Jay-Z's record name, Rockefeller, and her future appeared to be boundless. Her exceptional voice, delicate yet rough, turned into a mark sound on a few Rockefeller tracks. She was really the primary craftsman to be endorsed by the name, which was an immense arrangement. It seemed like the sky was the breaking point for her. There were even reports that she was a professional writer for Jay-Z. She was promising to such an extent that she even recorded a track with Beyonce called I Got That. Yet here's where things get truly delicious. The connection between Beyonce and Emile supposedly went far beyond making music together. Bits of hearsay began flying that the two were substantially more than only companions, as per Emile, who trusted in a few dear companions. She and Beyonce were profoundly engaged with one another in a heartfelt connection, all despite Jay-Z's good faith. Obviously, Beyonce succumbed to a dinner firm, while the two ladies were similarly elaborate. Beyonce was the person who turned out to be profoundly fanatically connected. Beyonce's conduct around a dinner was supposedly not quite the same as her standard self. She behaved like a desirous, possessive sweetheart, able to take extraordinary measures to remain quiet about dinner. She even began behaving like a stalker, appearing at Distress Loft unannounced to ensure upset wasn't with any other individual. She said how Beyonce would simply spring up at the studio unannounced and drive by her condo a few times to check whether she was messing with any other individual. Emile was at that point involved with one more rapper minister, notwithstanding laying down with Beyonce. Emile could never pick her over the cleric. This didn't agree with Beyonce, who in the long run gave Distress a final proposal, pick her or minister, to Beyonce's consternation. Emile picked a cleric. However, Beyonce wasn't the sort to be handily disposed of. She concluded that, on the off chance that she could never have a feast, she would ensure a dinner endured the fallouts. Beyonce resembled, "Look, you got to pick, it will be possibly me or minister," and obviously Distress picked cleric. That is the point at which she said Beyonce spazzed out once more and began settling on independent decisions. Afterward, she was kicked off the mark, and after 2 years, Beyonce and Jay-Z were a thing insane with Jay-Z's assistance. Beyonce supposedly coordinated the ruin of Emile's vocation, regardless of Emile's huge ability. Her profession burned out, and many accept that had Beyonce not mediated, Emile might have been an immense star conceivably in any event, equaling Beyonce herself, while the purposes behind Emile's expulsion from Jay-Z's name and her resulting boycott from the music business appeared to be really clear to the vast majority. Emile has consistently attempted to introduce it as her very own decision. In a meeting, she shared her side of the story, saying, "I began to rebel. I defied the business since it wasn't what I needed. I detested voyaging. I wasn't at get-togethers or the club. Additionally, at the time, my child's asthma, who was 5 or 6 years of age at the time, was getting worse. I must show up for him." Emile proceeded to underline that the choice to step back was entirely hers and that nobody or nothing else pushed her out. She said she felt like it simply wasn't for me. That is the point at which I began revolting. I began revolting on the grounds that I needed out. It was simpler for me to get away. I blurred myself, nobody blurred me, and that is when everything appeared to go left. She even referenced that she left the business on the grounds that the more cash she made, the more arrangements she believed she needed to make with Satan. That part seems like a paranoid fear, perhaps something AEL utilizations to get a handle on why her agreement with Rockefeller was ended so unexpectedly. Emil was never given an unmistakable justification for why she was so mercilessly eliminated from Jay-Z's record organization. For years she attempted to think of clarifications to persuade herself that it wasn't Beyoncé paying back her for their supposed separation. At one point she even thought her weight gain could have been the explanation she was given up. Better believe it, I got up to a little 135 lb. We need to call that enormous. Okay, definitely I got this goodness. So they even said that 'cause you even heard 'cause you put on some weight. No doubt that I put on weight all through this. Beyoncé and Jay-Z proceeded to totally close Emil out, never allowing her an opportunity to talk or account for herself. Emil uncovered how Jay-Z treated her during this troublesome time, saying, I attempted to connect with Jay a few times, but he never hit me up. Jay-Z ventured to such an extreme as to let his companions know that they wouldn't be seeing distress once more, and just like that, she was never again some portion of the name presently not welcome to any gatherings or industry occasions. Now Emil isn't the main craftsman who has purportedly experienced the anger of Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Another model is Crown Marie, back in 2005, a youthful and unimaginably skilled headdress. Marie scored an arrangement with Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records. In addition to the fact that she was gifted, she was shocking and just 17 years old under Jay-Z's wings. Headband dropped her single to encourage her from her introduction collection, and it was a moment hit with Jay-Z backing her and being delegated the Princess of Djam Records. Headband was enjoying a truly incredible lifestyle. Around the same time, a youthful Rihanna and Neo likewise joined with Djam Records. Headdress was at that point the authority princess of the mark, absorbing all the consideration. Rihanna, being an outsider from Barbados, was somewhat in the shadows, contrasted with her seriously encouraging name-mate. However, at that point, things took a sensational turn when Sovereign Bai concluded she was flowing more with Rihanna. Out of nowhere, the elements at the name moved, and the headdress ended up getting the boot. La Reed let the cat out of the bag in his diary, uncovering that at first the mark thought headdress was the greater star among her and Rihanna. Anyway, Beyoncé stepped in, causing them to rethink and push for Rihanna. Reed composed, "We had an in-house organization exhibit, and Beyoncé turned out to be there with Jay-Z. Crown Mari Rihanna, a four-young lady bunch called Dark Butterfly and Neo, performed at the name. We figured headdress Mari would be a major star. We invested more energy in her, did more work on her, and focused harder on her. A ringer went off for me anyway when, after the feature, Beyoncé became dependent upon me and said that Rihanna was a young lady. She's got a little push from Beyoncé." Quick forward to 2006 and the Crown Mari got a call, not an extravagant letter, but simply a call presumably made by some staff, illuminating her that she was no longer piece of the mark. Imagine getting the boot without a legitimate heads-up from a person you saw as a mentor. Crown later spilled the tea, saying Jay-Z himself never tried to give her the news. She said, "Jay-Z didn't call me to let me know if things had played out distinctively. Headdress might have been the present Rihanna or, if nothing else, a much greater star, thinking of her as an obvious ability." Be that as it may, tragically, her peak popularity window was from 2005 to 2006. Since Beyoncé's mediation, she's been hustling as a striving craftsman with only one hit in her possession, and afterward, there's the adventure of Jay-Z and Saucy Earthy. They ran into each other when Charming was only 15, later on, Saucy endorsed with a Hard of Hearing jam, and reports began whirling about a heartfelt connection among her and Jay-Z. Jay-Z kept bringing Saucy in front of an audience during his visits while she was still in her group, emitting major a sensation that this has happened before flows from the Aaliyah and R. Kelly show. They were constantly seen together, raising a ruckus around town parties and igniting hypotheses about their association. They delivered collabs like Ain't No, and I'll set their status as rap. Dream Group, the science among Saucy and Jay-Z was unquestionable, creating a combo of verses and a common energy for their art. They were concocting something uniquely great, and the world was flowing with it big time. However, at that point, Charming's vocation took a turn. She was all set to drop Dark Roses, yet a meeting misfortune tossed a significant curve. The collection got shelved, and her profession confronted an unavoidable issue. Murmurs began about Jay-Z not being content with how things were going, indicating a potential mark. Diversion, the Dark Roses' publicity in the end subsided, stirring up their joint effort. Excursion quick forward to May 2007 and Black Hand Amusement steps in their overseeing Charming Earthy Colored Now, with Ches Williams driving the charge yet unexpected development. The delivery date for Dark Roses was all the while missing by August 16, 2007. It was true Saucy was saying farewell to DeJam, preparing for her non-mainstream record named Dark Rose Diversion with Cock Records. Dealing with dispersion, it was a major vocation, turn a new way for her. Imaginative vision, tragically NGS experienced somewhat of a plunge. The central issue remains, for what reason did her vocation experience a plunge? Notwithstanding having Jay-Z in her corner, Charming is extraordinarily skilled and she's constantly complimented Jay-U'd. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.